Good evening, everyone. My name is Captain Edward Hoke. I'm the commanding officer of the Pennsylvania State Police Troop N Hazleton. To my right is Lieutenant Robert Bartle, the crime section commander from Troop N Hazleton PSP. To my left is Corporal Mike Borash. And with us this evening also is Monroe County Coroner Bob Allen. I'm going to provide for you this evening some details regarding the incident that took place at the Ross Township building earlier this evening. Let me begin by saying Pennsylvania State Police extend our sincere condolences to the families and friends of those individuals who lost their life this evening in this senseless tragedy. At 19:19 hours this evening, 7:19 p.m., the Pennsylvania State Police at Lehighton received a 911 hang-up call. A minute later, we received another call from an individual reporting an active shooter at the Ross Township building. That shooter has been identified as Rockney Warren Newell, N-E-W-E-L-L. Former address of 293 Flight Road, P.O. Box 550, Saylorsburg. He's 59 years of age. At approximately 15 minutes after 7 this evening, Mr. Newell approached the township building armed with a long gun. Upon the approach to the township building, he began to fire the long gun into the township building through the windows of the building. He continued to advance on the building, firing as he walked forward, firing through the windows. The building was occupied with between 15 and 18 members of the Township Supervisors Council, and also residents who had attended were in attendance at the meeting. He subsequently then entered the building, continuing to fire the long gun as he made his way through the building. At some point, he then exited the building and returned to the parking lot where he retrieved a handgun from his vehicle. He then again reapproached the building and entered the building, again firing the weapon, and was subsequently tackled and brought to the ground by two individuals who were inside the township building. He was restrained until the troopers arrived and took him into custody. During the course of this incident, 4 individuals were killed. 2 individuals were deceased upon the arrival of the emergency responders. 1 individual was flown by medevac helicopter and succumbed to his injuries down at the St. Luke's Bethlehem Hospital. And another individual, a female, who was flown to Lehigh Valley Cedar Crest campus, succumbed to a gunshot wound. There was 1 additional injury suffered. It was a grazing wound to the head. The male victim is believed to be in good condition as we speak. The actions of this individual at this point are under investigation. The manner and reason for what he did this evening is still under investigation. I'll now open the floor to Lieutenant Bartle, who will provide you with some additional information.
So is there 6 injured plus the shooter, or we heard reports there was 7, according to, because if you have the 4 dead and you have 1 other graze wound, and the shooter would be 6.
Correct.
Not 7.
There was also someone with a medical emergency of some sort.
The heart attack?
It's a stress-induced illness. It's not a gunshot wound. I'm only speaking at this point to those who suffered gunshot injuries.
Was the shooter, when he was wrestled to the ground, did they shoot him? Was he shot himself?
The manner in which the shooter sustained the injury, which is a gunshot wound, is under investigation.
Where was he shot at?
My understanding, he was shot in the leg. I was told that at the scene. I did not see him. And as the captain said, we are trying to determine whether he was shot during the struggle or whether the weapon was taken off of him, and he was shot at that time as he continued to make advances towards the victims.
Did Mr. Newell know anyone inside that building? Did he have any relationship, any sort of indication of motive at this point?
I'm going to allow Lieutenant Bartle to speak as to the possible motivation and the circumstances that may have led up to this incident this evening.
He's had an ongoing dispute
Mr.
with,
Monroe, can you move to the mic?
Sir?
he's had an ongoing dispute with township officials, something about the condemnation of his property and issues relating to his sewer. I'm not really sure if he personally knew the individuals who had been killed tonight or not. They were there. I believe one of them is in an official capacity with the township, so you would assume that he did know them, but I don't know that as to be a fact.
Can anyone tell us where Mr. Newell is now?
He is at Pocono Medical Center?
Correct.
And of those dead and injured, can you tell us who were township supervisors, if there were members of the public who were injured as well?
It's my understanding that one was a person who acted in the capacity for the township, but I'm really not sure on that. I don't even have the identity of all the 4 people who were killed at this point.
Sir, do you know, was there something about his property that was on the agenda tonight, or did this
No,
just?
I was told there was nothing about his property on the agenda tonight. Apparently, the property was condemned possibly last Thursday, and he'd been out of there since then, and possibly even longer than that. He showed up at this meeting unbeknownst to people that he was going to be coming today. He showed up in a car with Texas registration plates.
What, can you describe the weapon he was using in more detail? Was it an automatic weapon?
At this point, all I know that it's a long gun that we believe was returned to the vehicle by him. We have applied for and will execute a search warrant on the vehicle to see exactly what it was, and also I was told a handgun. And I don't know whether it was a semi-automatic, revolver, or what type of handgun at this point.
What do you know about his background? Do you know anything about him personally? There are rumors that he was interested in guns.
I do not know that. All I know is that he had an ongoing dispute with the township over his property.
Did he shoot anyone with a handgun, or was it just a long rifle?
I do not know what they were shot with. I know that he initially entered the building with the long gun, and that there were people shot with that. Whether anyone was shot with a handgun or not, I do not know.
Do we know if those weapons were registered to him?
I do not know that at this point. We haven't even executed the search warrant for the one. The handgun is in the property of the state police. They took custody of it upon arrival, but as far as I know, it hasn't even been checked yet to see who it is registered to.
Do you have any information about the 2 people who tackled him? Who
Yeah.
they were? Were they members of the public? Were they township officials?
They were at the meeting. I believe one was a member of the public, and one was someone related with the parks program.
Can you confirm Bernie Cozen? We heard reports from someone who was inside the room.
I don't know what the gentleman's name is. I had troopers were interviewing them, but I don't have that information handy.
Talk about what they did. I mean, in your mind, stuff, and these guys sprang into action, tackled them. I mean, they saved lives.
Well, they certainly did. It's certainly courageous what they did, and they absolutely would have saved lives. He was entering the building again with a handgun, and certainly his intent had been shown that he was wanted to harm the people, and certainly if they would not have done that, he would have killed or injured other people.
Do you know how many people were in attendance at the meeting or in the building?
I was told 15 to 18 people were in attendance. I don't know how many were in official capacity with the township and how many were residents that were there for the meeting or had something on the agenda.
And that's not the public safety building, the police building, is it?
Ross Township Municipal Building.
Okay.
How do you spell Rockney? R-O.
Ross, R-O-S-S, Township.
No, Rockney. Rockney.
The name.
The spelling on his first name is R-O-C-K-N-E.
Does he have any sort of history of violence that you guys are aware of, or any prior criminal
That's not
record?
something that we do have the information, but we do not comment on someone's previous criminal history. I'm sure that some of the information will be spelled out in an arrest affidavit or can be obtained through the court records, but we can't comment on that at this time.
Is he married? Does he have kids? Can you tell us anything?
I do not know those facts at this time.
Can you tell us where and when he'll be arraigned?
No, I don't even know the extent of his injuries. I was told they're not life-threatening, but I was only told that secondhand, so it'll depend on when he can be released from the hospital, and if he can't be released, then obviously an arraignment will have to be done at the medical facility.
There was a report that he was already released. Can you comment on that at all?
I haven't, that's the first I heard of that.
Do you know how many shots in all were fired?
No, there was quite a few shots were fired.
Can you just tell me for sure, there were 3 men killed and 1 woman, is that right? 3 males and?
That is correct, Spike.
Describe the scene for us. Obviously, we're here, we haven't been there. Can you just describe the scene for us inside that building?
It's just it's a large room that's set up like any township meeting room would be set up. In the front of the room is place where the township officials with their nameplates are set there, and then there's just chairs, folding chairs.
I mean, after the shooting, like when you walked through that scene, what was it like doing it for you?
Well, I mean, it was, as you can imagine, there'd been multiple people shot there, and there had been a struggle there. So, it was chaotic. Certainly, there was quite a bit of damage and what you would expect.
I will tell you all this, at this point, we do not have any information at this point to believe that this individual acted other than on his own accord. There's no information thus far in this investigation to indicate that he may have been involved with anyone else, or that there may have been anybody else involved in helping him perpetrate this act.
Can you tell us what's happening at Mr. Newell's home at the moment?
What's happening where?
At his home at the moment?
We are making application for a search warrant. I don't even know if it's officially still his residence. We will get a search warrant, and we will certainly go there to process it and look for any evidence that would indicate why he did this, or if anyone else would possibly be involved. But as the captain said, we have no indication or reason to believe at this time that anyone else was involved with the planning or carrying out of this crime.
Any idea when you may be able to release the names of the victims?
Well, so
After
we're
we
going to
notify next of kin.
We'll let
That's why I'm trying to get a better understanding when you guys.
We haven't got that done because we aren't even sure who they are yet, because we haven't got that far along in the investigation. And let me point out as coroner that we'll be doing forensic autopsies. They'll take place on Wednesday. The two that were dead at the scene are Monroe County deaths. The two that were medevaced are Lehigh County deaths. So Scott Grimm is in charge of the two that were medevaced, and I'm in charge as Monroe County coroner of the two that died here at the scene. Those autopsies will take place on Wednesday. We'll have the results sometime Wednesday afternoon. Obviously, state police, myself, will be attending those autopsies. They're done by forensic pathologists at Lehigh Valley Hospital. In confirming, we cannot confirm who they are until we have that next of kin. That will not happen tonight. You'll not get any names till tomorrow. So
So the person who had the stress-induced illness, did that person also die tonight?
no.
Okay.
No. The person was transported in from prior to coming into the conference. The last update I received was that they're going to be fine.
So to recap, 4 fatal gunshot wounds, 1 graze wound, and 1 person who had a stress-related
Yes.
incident.
Stress-induced illness brought about by the traumatic incident. Yes. I will say this at this point, as you're all aware, you have more questions, and we have answers for you at this point, and I do appreciate your patience. There will be a briefing tomorrow. We will be announcing the location of the briefing and also who will be present. I believe at that time, Monroe County District Attorney Dave Christine will be participating in that along with the State Police and Coroner Bob Allen. So that's-
I'm sorry, sir.
I'm sorry.
Mr. Miller just advised me he received a call from Lehigh Valley Medical Center, and they said that the female victim is not deceased. She's in surgery. Now, he had received a call previously here before we started this that she was deceased, so that's pretty indicative of the way things are going. We're receiving information secondhand from various medical sources, so they're saying that she is not deceased at this point, and I don't know any more other than what was just told to me here.
Can we get you guys will be releasing a photo, I mean, I don't know if you have prior ones, a photo of Mr. Newell, obviously he's in the hospital.
At this
You
point,
have
we
one?
won't be. I don't have a photo of him available right now anyway, but when the time is appropriate, we certainly will make that available to you.
So is it 3 deceased now instead of 4?
Correct, that's what they're informing me. Apparently there was, as you can imagine, in an incident of this nature, the information is flowing back and forth between the police and at this point the staffing from the hospital, the staff of the hospital. Sometimes that information is not always clear. So we do our best to get you the story that you need with the information that we have available at the time. So as I said, we will be providing with the information tomorrow, where hopefully we can answer some additional questions for you.
That will be here.
We're not sure exactly where that will be held, sir, but we will put that out in the form of a press release from the Lehigh Barracks. Okay.
That address where you guys are conducting a search warrant, where's that located at?
The former address of the shooter that was involved in this is 293 Flight Road. If you have nothing more, that will conclude for us this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Bradford, any please?
I just want to know.